Hi everyone, I'm Miss Susie from Monroe Street Art Center, and today I am bringing you project videos for your spring art kit. In this video, we are going to be making Zentangle tulips. And in this video, I'm actually going to show you how to make a tulip, but maybe you want to make something else. Maybe you want to make a different kind of flower or something else that you love about the springtime. Maybe you want to make a baby chick or a bunny. Maybe you want to make a cloud or the sun because the sky is so nice and bright these days. Maybe you want to make a rainbow. Maybe you want to make big blades of grass. Whatever you want to make, you don't have to make a tulip. I'm going to show you how to make this and maybe one other thing, and then we'll go from there. So in your art kit, here are the supplies you're going to need. You're going to need your bright piece of paper for your background. In this kit, I had a blue piece. In this one, I have a yellow piece. You might have a pink piece or an orange piece. Then you're gonna need your piece of white cardstock. Now in your kit, you have 2 pieces of white paper. One is a little bit thinner, and that's your white cardstock. One is thicker, and this is watercolor paper. Now your watercolor paper you're gonna need for a different project, so go ahead and put that away. And today we're gonna be using our white cardstock. You can also tell because this white is a little bit brighter than the watercolor paper. You're also gonna need your ultra fine permanent marker to do our Zentangle. You might want a pencil. You don't have one in your kit, but you might want a pencil in case you wanna sketch it out first. You also might want to grab a pair of scissors if you have them at home so we can cut out our tulip or whatever you're going to make to go on your background. You might want some markers for your background, and you're going to need your glue stick so that when we cut out our shape, we can put it on our background. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So to get started, we're going to need our white cardstock. You're also going to need a pencil if you want to trace your drawing first, or you can grab your ultrafine permanent marker. I'm gonna start with a pencil, just so that way if I make a mistake, I can go back, erase it, and just kind of start again. So if you want to make a tulip, like the one in our example today, first, we're gonna start with this big U shape. It has a little bit more of a point at the bottom than a U, but that's kind of how we're gonna think about it. So first, I'm gonna start up here with my pencil. I'm gonna come all the way down and kind of make a curve in. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. There, I'll just kind of connect the two so you can see that. And it's okay if it's not quite right, we can always go back and fix it later. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make one big petal. I'm gonna start at the top and then I'm gonna come all the way down to the bottom. I'm gonna curve it around a little bit, and then I'm gonna have it come all the way down to the bottom. So now we've got one big petal on our tulip, and that's gonna be a really cool place to fill in with our Zentangle. And now on this side, I'm gonna start up at that top and I'm gonna just come meet it right here, kind of about halfway down on our other petal. There, so now we've got a big petal over here, we've got a big petal over here. So now I'm gonna make a petal in the middle, just kind of like a big triangle that connects the two. I'm gonna round the sides a little bit and then come down. Now, you could absolutely leave it like this and have 3 big petals on your tulip. On our example today, I had one over there, one on this side and one in the middle, and then I added 2 more little petals in between. So if you wanna do that, you're just gonna, again, make 2 kind of like sides of a triangle in between these. And if yours is a variation of this, that's fine. And again, if you want to do something else, that's great too. So that is how you're going to make your tulip. And when you're done, you're gonna go back and take your Sharpie and you're gonna go all the way around it. So now let's just take our permanent marker and let's go over our pencil. And if you ever need to go back and erase some of the pencil lines because they didn't match up exactly, that's okay too. all of these tulip lines. There, so now we have our tulip and we can go in and Zentangle each one of the petals. Now you'll see on our example today, what I did is I created some sections within each of the petals. So what I did is I just took a ruler or a straight edge and I would just create straight lines whenever I was done with a section. I didn't go in and do it first. You could if you wanted to. If you want, while you have this petal out, you could just take a straight edge. I used the side of the marker box. And what you could do is you could just go in, flip it this way so you can see it a little bit better. I would just go in and I thought, that kind of looked like a good section. And I would create a line. And now I know I'm gonna put my first pattern in that little box. If you want to, you can make the lines as you go. If you want to, you could make sections before you start your Zentangle. Whatever is up to you. But next, before we go ahead and do that, I'm gonna show you how to make a different shape. Maybe if you don't wanna make a Zentangle. So I'm gonna grab one more piece of paper. All right, I've got my new sheet of paper because maybe you love tulips in springtime. Maybe you're not super into flowers. Maybe you wanna do a leaf. Maybe you want to do the sun. Maybe you wanna do the clouds. I was actually really inspired by my yellow piece of the background. It reminded me of the sun and the sky. So this time I am gonna make a rainbow. So I'm actually gonna make a nice big loopy rainbow. So I'm gonna make a really tall rainbow. Maybe you wanna make a wide rainbow. Let's see what we can come up with. All right, so first, I'm gonna make one really tall loop. And then I'm gonna make another one. And again, I'm just using my pencil just in case I want to go back and change something just a little bit. You can add as many rings as you want on your rainbow. You could add not as many rings as you want on your rainbow. It's totally up to you. I think I'm gonna do one more. Kind of go from there. So as you can see, it's not perfect, which I kind of love about it. I might clean up this line just a little bit. So you can go back in, erase it a little bit. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make it a little thicker on that side. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and Zentangle my rainbow. All right, everybody, how'd you do? I can't wait to see what you decided to make, whether you decided to make the tulip that we drew at the beginning of our video, whether you did a different shape. I decided to do a rainbow today. Maybe you did a cloud or one of the other things that we talked about, or maybe you picked something totally different. I did a rainbow today. So just like my tulip, I spent lots of time Zentangling each of the different sections of my rainbow. Now for the tulip, we had talked about dividing with lines, different sections in our tulip. For this one, I just decided to treat each color of the rainbow as its own patterned section. Now, if you did a rainbow, you could have done your Zentangle in marker. You could have done this line with your red marker. I decided to just outline the edges of my rainbow using the colors of the rainbow, but then to leave the insides of each row black and white using my fine tip permanent marker, and I really like the way that turned out. What I love about Zentangle is that it takes some time. So if it's a really nice day, you could sit outside and do this. You could listen to some music and do this. If you're a grown-up, I also highly suggest this project. It is a really good thing to do to kind of calm your mind. You could turn on a podcast. You could be doing it while you're watching something. Again, you could take it outside. You could sit on your patio, your deck, sit in your driveway. And it is just a really good thing to do to kind of quiet our minds. So I cannot wait to see what yours is gonna look like. So next, you don't have a pair of scissors in your kit, so grab some from home. And now we are just going to cut out our shape. I cut out around my tulip last time. And again, just like we drew at the beginning of the class, I did this tulip. I hope you were able to fill in all your sections. If you made a tulip, just go ahead and cut all the way around your shape until it's done. I am going to cut the outside of my rainbow. You know what, I actually want to go in and I just want to make my red rainbow stripe just a little thicker. So I am just gonna color in the sides. You'll see I'm being pretty messy with my table. I have a messy mat on top of my table. I have a brown piece of paper. So you can be messy like me if you have something underneath you, if you have something on top of your table. If you have some newspaper, if you have brown paper like I do, if you have an extra piece of paper under your shape. But if it's just your table, you're gonna wanna be a little more careful than I'm being. All right, I just wanted to make that edge just a little thicker. I think that's just gonna help it pop just a little bit more. So now, let's see how it looks. I kind of love that. I love that. All right, actually, I forgot my bottom loop, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out too. And again, I've got a little bit of white still there, so I'm just gonna take my pink marker and color it in a little bit more. And friends, always, 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 when you're done with your markers, when you're done with your glue sticks, when you're done with your paint cup, when you're done with your permanent marker, you always want to put the cap back on. We never wanna dry out our materials. All right, so I've got my Zentangle rainbow. I'm gonna take my piece of paper. And so now, I just kind of get to figure out where I want it to go on my page. I love that, I think it's cute. I actually think I'm gonna stick my rainbow up a little bit like that. All right, so then you're just gonna grab your glue stick, get it out a little bit, and I'm just gonna turn it over. I'm just gonna kind of outline the whole thing in glue. Now I'm sticking my rainbow on my background before I've colored the background. When I did my tulip, I colored the background first and then put it on top. You can do it whichever way makes most sense to you. All right, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it a little off center, a little slanted, because I like how that looks. Press it down. Now with a glue stick, you're gonna have to use a good amount of glue. So get your glue all on the back. And then I like to just like tap dance around the edges a little bit. Take my fingers, do that. All right, so now I've got my rainbow on my nice yellow background. I'm delighted with how this turned out. So now what I'm gonna do is I might add maybe a couple of clouds to the background. With this background, I just added a fun pattern that I really liked. I just created some triangles, some lines and I outlined it. You can do whatever you want in your background. You could add more pictures like I'm gonna do over here. I'm gonna add some clouds. You could just make it a really cool pattern. All right. All done. All right, everybody, how'd your Zentangle turn out? Here's mine. I am just so inspired by the springtime right now, and I loved this yellow color. It reminded me of the sun, so I wanted to make a big, bright rainbow, and I added with some of my markers just a little bit of color in my rainbow. Maybe you decided to make a tulip, like I showed you in the beginning. Maybe you took your time drawing all those petals and adding each of those sections within the petal. Maybe you made something totally different. I cannot wait to see what you came up with for your spring Zentangle creation. Share your pictures with us. We would love to see them. Send them to us on Instagram, on Facebook. You can email them to us. We just want to see your beautiful work. We hope you had fun with this project. Bye.